Okay. What I'm doing now is what they call doubling up the system. We are brains. We are not bodies. This body has nothing to do with us. You haven't done anything but search the food that you search out to eat that goes into your body, that whether you feel good or you don't feel good, that made you go out to McDonald's or come back home or pick it up from work and you didn't pick it up and your kids are all mad because you didn't get the food for the body. The body is craving for things. There's an interior reaction inside of us, and I got it when I was gambling. That's how I figured part of this out. When I go gambling, I feel a flush, like a tear that goes through me, like an energy that vitalizes me. When I see them flying around the track and they're screaming in the air, I'm ready to go. Get my horse and put my money on the line, telling everybody I'm doing fine, not understanding what's going on. Now, I just made a find with a bunch of numbers, is that they're doing a power up. Number 4 is a quadra, okay? The 5th one is in the seat. The transmission, the motor that makes it go, but without your hand, it's not going by itself. Then they have the quintuplets. How many can you make? God's 5. God has to be 5. He's 1 and he's 5. He's 1 and 4, he's 5. That's how he became 4 here. So what I decided to do is I thought, in the French language, when they say, and the French are not perfect, but they say one thing really good, and they express it. When they say 80, 80, it means 4 20s. If I just did a letter count over here and a number count, okay, with power up, 80, power up, and the 160 plus 40 of the Monopoly, making the bicentennial, whatever you call it, the 200 years. Okay, so what happens is you start at 160. Why? This goes from you at the 20-yard line, you're at the 40-yard line, and add 20. Okay, you're at the 60, and add 20 more, now you're at the other team's 40. And you do it back the other way, it's the same thing. So now you went 20 and 20, and they went 20 and 20. That makes 4 20s, 80. 80, Katrina. They're bringing around the cyclone. I don't know what just came in. Katrina. God is cinco. God is cinco. Cinco. Spanish. Wow. Spanish lambada is coming back to me. You see, I got to throw things around. I don't know them. I have to learn right now. And I'm still doing this, so I'm not channeling properly, but that's okay. I have to teach you who I am. So if I get lost and I get frustrated, well, it's even harder. My mind will have to work, and I'll find myself, and they won't be able to come in because I'm not going to be frustrated. It is what it is. When I finish my day, I clean everything up, I put everything away, I go 3 days, I throw everything out, and I start all over. I used to save notes. I write on everything. There was a mark on all my walls. My floor is all painted. Maybe I can just give it a quick shot, see what I can get. See my floor? That's my floor. And that's my wall. And I have it all the way to the poor lamb who's watching out the window for me every single day. But she's got a little yellow ribbon in her ear. Little yellow ribbon round the oak tree. Oak tree, for a yellow ribbon. So now we know the oak is good. Because really and truthfully, if you really want to know, everything came from the oak. Everything came from the oak. Everything. Because in French, O is E-A-U. E and A are 1 and 5. 5, 1, 2, 1. Memory. E-A-U, the water. It says 5, 1, 2, 1. But we don't have to use the other one, but forget about that. Because the word O in French, okay, forget about the 5 because that's the halfway between the two. If you multiply it, I'll get 605. That's 11. But if I multiply the 121 from the word O, it says 121 or 1111. May 1st, the Mayflower comes on a ship. So we know there must be something good about May. The bear goes away for the season. They work all year. The bear goes back to his den And they work all year waiting for the new leaves to come out to see what their potion did from 25 years ago. They've been doing this for thousands of years, my friend. Thousands and thousands of years. There's been a breakaway and a freedom, but no vision of God. This is one of the reasons, and I write all this down, and this is the house of five we are living in right now. It's the house of five. It's the Jackson fives, my friend. It's the jacks and all the fives, because the fives get you to every single corner. This is the fifth, because we are the sixth. The last one on the mug and dove it before another star goes up and another one falls down. To spin this world around in the world of Aquarius. Christ came here to leave his scratch. To show what he had to show, so some of you would know one day that when the time comes and the world is full of 6.66 billion, plus the leftover time. So when I add this up, the power up, now that we did the 80, that says the cat, it bothered me all my life. Or when you say 80 ohms, it's 91. The ohms just brings it right in. The ounce, the 14-ounce steak that you're going to buy, the 1 in 4 that you just drop your jaws to sink into her because she's got a point at the end. Now what I did, and since this is the world of 480s, cat, egat, or 4 times 80, which means 320. So now that it's the world of 320 degrees, and God has the other 40 degrees, which is the Monopoly board that is supposed to be played every single corner would be a Monopoly board. It's weird, man. So what would happen now, okay, is what I did is took 180 degrees, and I moved back there 20. Because it's all the same 20. We're using the same number. You want to use the 160 degrees now for something else, go ahead. I bet you that takes you between the 9 and the 6. On the telephone, keep that on your clock, but I don't have it done here. So what I did like this is I went 20-20 to make 200, 20-20 to make 200, 20-20 to make 200. I did it on 3 levels, and then I added it back to the 160. So I got 200, 200, 200. We got 600. Then we get the same thing on the other side of 600. Now we have the 160 plus the original 60 in a row that the return wiring would have to bring back, so you have to add it up. So you add up 60 to 160, you have 220, and then you do it at the bottom, you end up with the 440 cat ounce. 2 more 4s. Madame Cat, the losing number in the house of the cube. They thought us it was a losing number, but it wasn't. It's the 4 corners. So now what you do, you got 2 20s on each side. Now 220 is 440, but is it 220 volts? Flipping over into other 220, making it the same 220, but in order for them to start, they have to come onto the other side. So now I'm starting to look at these numbers, 600 and 600. Then I look at 440. So I go 6 and 440 is 1,040, and then I do it on the other side, 1,040. I put them together, I get 2080. 2080 is actually 4 times 20 by the word 80 in French. Okay? Now you have to understand and respect the world we are in, and you can't go to the end of the street and drive into a driveway that's not yours at 90 miles an hour because it doesn't continue. You have to know that. So we have to know it in the game. We started at 5, there's 5 missing right away. 5 by 5 automatically is 25's missing. From the 5775, there's 5,800 years of the Jewish calendar, in which that stands for all the months in the year. And it stands for number 1 and 2 in 2 different categories. One is on the roulette board, one is the letter count. Okay? I am the count. I count and I look and I check and I want to know. I want to have fun when I do it, so if I know I can laugh with it and then I can join it. If I can sing with all the singers, but I can't sing, so this is the only way I sing. So we have 2080, which is 4 20s. Now the 20 actually comes from is this dice cube. There's a 5, there's a 2. Okay, but it only is valued at 5 because they're doubled up. It only makes 1. It's an extra connection wire that they hook up to you inside the mainstream board where we're being reborn. Again, I don't know how it works. We may just be eggs. We might be zombies. One of us will be a zombie when the egg is ready for the brain to be ready. and that has to take a certain number of cycles, which is 49 years. And the reason for the 49 years is because that's the number of days it took a chicken to go to market when my grandfather was doing it with none of these IV medications. It was also 52 and 64, depending how size the chicken was. And where was I? I was on 2080, and then the chicken. Anyways, the 1040 that they have, right, is 1040. My birthday, October 4th. Forget about the zero. That's God level. It goes up a level. God is by the thousands. He's going to add a zero to everything, push everything up a level, and he gets 1. He pushes it up another level, he gets 2. He pushes it up another level, he's 3. And then he gets the passage, and then he gets the egg, and then he gets the angel in the world. And after he gets the angel in the world, he gets the white. And everything I just told you are the first 10 numbers in pi. I just told you what the numbers meant, according to my vibrations and my decrypting, and then my throwing it around, and my resolution of thought. Now, I'm not going to correct myself all the time. I have to be wrong to be right, to see my mistakes. There has to be an error somewhere so I can let the string will tag, so I have to see the string hanging over my head, which is my hair, which I no longer have, and it's not in my eyes, and I can see the string because I feel the string because it's inside. So 1,000, 2,080, 4 by 20 within the year 2000. 1 president, 2 presidents, 3 presidents, because they all run by the Jewish calendar. It's 3 corners on the edge of your hat, but the graduate has 4. So what we're going to do over here is we're going to actually take away from the 20 the first original 2 dice that makes up the 58 and 58 from TWO and the roulette wheel, which is 1, 10, 19, and 28, 2 are black, 2 are red. And it's funny the way there's 2 in the red spot. You see there's 2. 1 and 1, 9 are both red. But 10 is black and 28 is black. When you have 10 black, it says, I am 1, and I own everything up until I'm no longer 1. And then after that, 2 takes over and goes all the way up to 27, and then God steps in and says, I'm time heaven. 28, the TH, ETH, electronic time heaven. That's my last name. METH, 13. Why? Because after 12, he holds the 2 dice in one hand, regardless of what's in his hand. He's got 2 dice, he knows it. What's the difference? He's got something in his hand. It's now 100%. It's a 360. It's a 180 of the 360. To complete it, he has to open up his hand, get the sweat out. So I take off 12. I can take off all the way to 1998 if you really want. 1998, 2002, you jump to, over 2000, everybody was scared, but they had to make a jump and a leap because the worlds connect. Okay? That's when they started. You know what it is? It's like a little thing like this. And when the arm comes down to here, it takes it all the way around back to the top. And then it's all flat and round on it. And now the hands of time in this world, in the spirit world, okay, this world, comes in and they run their little clock on it. But then all of a sudden, so many years later, it comes to the bottom and it brings it all the way back to the top again. It's in machinery. It's the way machines work. What they want to do is bring one log forward, turn it all the way around within a period of time before it gets the next log. So the log that's going away, by the time it's gone, the machine already knows it's bringing up another one. It's a one movement. Moves one at a time. It's like the seconds. Because then when you get to 59, there's more than one moving. Then when you get to the hour, all of them move, and that's the hand of God. The first time that clock has a number, with the number in front of it, he has closed in the rest of the numbers. That's 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, 2 eggs, 2000 hours, the 20 world, the 3 eggs, the year 2000, 202, 206, 210, 10, 10, 10. Now they overlap again. They go back to 2008. Sitting on a park bench, bum, bum, bum. What are you doing, sir? I go, I don't know. Let me see. Let me take out. Let's see, I got to get the cards here. So what am I doing? I don't know. Would you like me to pick a card? I'm sitting in the park. Is there something wrong for me sitting in the park? Did I do something wrong? Can I help you, sir? Well, can I see your ID? I says, whoa. I says, I'm not an Army Naval Sergeant. I'm just a private citizen sitting in the city park. Is there anything wrong with that, sir? And all I was drinking was a little bit of that whiskey gold. It ends in ARD, 19 and 4, 23. RD is third. RD ends in third. Second is ND, and first is ST. ST is a word that is the seventh inning stretch. RU is a word that is the seventh inning stretch. N and W is the seventh inning stretch, and it's all 5-5-5, but they're all the seventh inning stretch. Why? Because they all create 37s. 37s. Hold on, that's the top of the inning. Hold on a second. Let me check this out. Sorry. 37s. That's the first 3 innings marked on the scorecard of 3 outs of 7 innings, making 21 outs for the first team that went up first, but they don't have the last licks because their outs are over, and now the other team wins in the last half. Funny how a game you start first and you end up under. No matter what happens, you're second. You got to wait for all the bats to come up. When the bats come out and Batman and Robin start flying, my friends, you will see the skies move. The skies are coming in for a reaction. I have marked many companies down in my book, but they're all close. If it comes back to it, as long as I wrote it in my hand, the ink that doesn't come out of my pen even, as long as it slides, I feel it back. It goes into me. Tomorrow you'll say something to me, you'll give me a minute and you'll let me talk to tell you what I see, and then I'll know. I'll know only of what I see, and now I have to throw it around the sea and back, so it comes back to me. Spider, Charlotte's Web, the pig, the rat. It's all a game, my friends. If time is coming to an end, and it's restarting at the same time, and you're watching me and you're all confused, like what am I doing here? And you watch Avatar movies, you believe, you don't believe, you're scared at night, you're not scared at night, you go out, you take it easy, you don't take it easy, you're fast and slow, and you don't want anybody to tell you what to do, or you don't want anybody to know what you know, and the policeman comes up to me in the park on the 8th of August, 8/8, near the midnight hour, in which it flipped over to the other side of midnight by the time I got the ticket. It was near 1:30 in the morning in 2008. I got sick on the 5/5/5 of 2005. God had a birthday, the first birthday of the 777 of the millennium, the first 007 that comes in. It's all his, my friends, because the election started in 6 and it ended in 10. All elections are in the second year. What the result is at the end. It's 2 jumping between 2 and 4. It's a rabbit that drags his feet behind him while he makes 2 spots in the snow, and he drags his feet. He ends up making the 5 cube. But at the end, that's different than anybody else. He leaves his mark with a little cottontail every time he sits down to turn. Do you see the way a rabbit walks? He doesn't continuously run unless he's a jack hare. Then you're smoking weed and you're high and you're having a good time, so you're running. So I'll let you talk, just keep talking, you have a good time, That's all we want to have. Now the thing is, the problem is right here is, I think it was Cleveland, okay, one of the fat presidents, okay, they said something very funny about him. They called him his name twice, he was twice as much overweight. Now is that jumping over and jumping over again? And now Ron Paul is coming in, but Ron Paul is straight. And there's another president that has 2 last names. And Ron Paul has 2 last names, and Ron Paul says the pull. It's the 1621. And when you get 1621, my friends, I mean, how much can you want? When 1 and 2 is a family, it makes the 6. Well, the 1 started the whole thing. 1, 6, 2 is 9, and 1 is 10, the black 10. 1621, forget about 1, is 216 hours. It's a 9-day period broken up with 1 day in between of 16 and 8 hours. It's a system. It's all a return system. It's got to be made the same because the matrix is the same. Okay, it's a whole bunch of diamonds. All right, the thing is, God's got the diamond in the rough, the copper mountain. And when you pull out that ground, everybody dies. The whole world, even the evil world, everything falls apart. It crumbles up. The air goes out. Neptune goes home. The lover of the sea. the two NUs, North Americas. We go back to where we were on a planet with more than one moon. In fact, we should have 3 moons. One for the Spirit, the Angel, and the Holy Ghost. We should have one each, so that we each can learn and reflect from each other and grow into this universe that is so vast and beautiful. It's insane that we can't go out and do things because it costs too much. Although there is always going to be jail. Because the minute you bust your balls up in heaven, they send you right back down here for another life. And everything's recorded. There's nothing that you have done in this world that hasn't been recorded. In fact, apparently, that this is something that I don't believe. We are walking somewhere else in another world with the same head, interacting with each other constantly, living somewhere else in this world that you don't know, because now we're man 6, because of 3, is because there's 3 mug and dubbits now running down one side, okay? Right here. You got 6. We only need us and God. We only need us, the Spirit, and God is 3. Who are the other 3? I mean, the only way to really go into DNA is to make it talk. Make it talk on one side of the world, make them rich, and make them talk on the other side of the world, make them poor. See which elements pass within one and the other. They interact. You see how it goes. If you can make them talk to each other, now you've done a big mistake, because now they're channeling. The minute you bring them into the second world of your own, you have now led them to the second channel that you channel up to the higher channel that sends you your vibrations, the good vibrations. If one gets one, the other gets one, the other gets one, and the other gets one. Except the first one adds something into it, and then everybody else gets that. And she's the last stick, but he's the last word. She's the last pharmaceutical stick. Wisconsin. Surgical equipment. Minnesota, Wisconsin. Surgical equipment. All for the doctors that come out of Yale and Hale and Whale and Assail and you know what I'm saying? It's all a code. And Einstein. No, it's all a setup. 72 years from Einstein. It's one perfect 1/4 Einstein. That 1/4, 72 years. 72 years, 9 by 8, 72 of 86, man of the heaven. Einstein was the one. Germany is the brain. Somewhere in Germany. Now what would they do? Would they leave it under the ground and move somewhere else and power up from somewhere else? We already know the moon is not real. We already know that. The 7 and 8 card show us that. Let me show you. First of all, the ace shows you this is the only position it takes. Okay? So, this is me. And you want to hear something funny? I've bought tons of cards over the last few years. You got to understand and believe me. But now there's 3 jokers in this deck. Then I get the ace of spades next. The passage comes next. It's the diamond. It's 4-sided. It's attached to this 4-sided diamond, which is attached to this 4-sided diamond. Now we're going to go down. I have to skip all the pictures because the other side. You come all the way down to the 9. When you come back to 9, you're automatically connected to the single 1 again. When you count to 36, take the tic-tac-toe, make it bigger, and count to 36 and put it 1 in each box as you go. Everything will start to change. Now turn to 1 box, 2 red, and 2 black. Turn to 2 box, all black. Turn to 3, all red. Because if you see the numbers in red, it's a little scary, the crypt. But in black, it's only the vibration. There's no added effect of the alphabet in there. We have learned to read and decrypt the alphabet. Nine. He's lonely in there. He's got 4 on the top and 4 on the bottom. He's lonely in there. Because all he needs is the 4 in the middle. That's 4 in the middle, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. He's the 2 on the top and he's 2 on the bottom. God's 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. He's the 1 in the center. He's the long. It's the long. You see they're both upside down. See that X? That should be, that should put the football teams on the 40-yard line of their own at both sides, okay? But when you kick it off, because there's a tendency to pass over, like the 40-yard line would make the 41, and now you're into the other side of where go is, so now the kickoff is on the 35-yard line. 9. 35 is 7 by 5. That's the dice cube. The dice cube. You want to sit it like this, you want to put it like this, whichever way you put it is going to create a different kind of world. Do you see what he's wearing? He's got the V-neck and he's curled up as a D. On the other side I cannot see, but it doesn't matter because there are 2. 1 on one side, 2 on the other side. And in his sword, it's all by 2s. And then he's got all curled up by 4s. But the 4s he has curled up are the 4s of this world. Because of they make the Christ cross, they put the dots on the Christ cross, okay, but there's no dot in the center. They're shaped of the Christ cross, the points of this Christ cross, but there's no dot in the center. So, and he's also showing on here, oh my God, it's crazy. But the biggest thing is that leaf on his hat. And these. You see these 2, 4, 6? Well, when you put 2 jacks together, they're receptors, okay? And it's supposed to make the connection because these are electrical cards. The other thing I wanted to say is when I start to connect is this is the house of God, IHOP restaurants. Can you see it? I designed it a little bit. Then I'm going to get off and I'm going for breakfast at McDonald's, eat that crap. You know why? Because I generalize on it and I barely eat it at all. I'm just going to show you the way it works. Yeah, I'm still here. Just stick with me. Just stick with me. We're going to do this together. You're still there? Yeah, I know. I can't always. When I do this, it's good. You know what I'm saying? It helps me to stay in line. You can go get a drink. I'll do about a minute or 2 because I want to finish this. I usually rip up all my cards, you know. I don't rip them up. I play with them. Hey man, what are you playing with? I'm playing with my cards. No, I'm playing with my cards. Playing with my cards. Because there's 2 ways to do this, and one of them turns into an IHOP. I have to figure out how to do this. Okay, I don't know how this works. Oh yeah, I remember. Okay. The 10 card. Connected on the top on one side, connected on the bottom. He's got 2 straight hours. He said, I'm 0 and 1. If you're 1 and 2, that's no good because you're part of me. So now you're 2 and 3, but that's okay because that side got me in it anyways. So now you're 2 and 4, but that's okay because I'm 360 degrees. So you become 2 and 5 and you turn yourself upside down, or else your reflection is hidden in my face. So then you're 2 and 5, and whatever number you are, God seems to overshadow everybody. He is the wise of all owls. There's all kinds of things you can do with the cards, and I can't believe there's 3 jokers now, and but that's pretty funny. Okay, so I'm going for breakfast, and I finished off with that 4 and remember things about 5. Okay, remember things about 5. Weird things about 5. Want to hear a weird one? In the Canadian $5 bill, there's no U. They removed the U off the $5 bill. Does that mean they took away life from the French people here in Quebec? Because Canada spells cinq with no U. How does France spell the 5 word? You have to compare France now. This war with France, they made black people white in Obama suits, and now they got French people that are actually English people. They turned out French because of all the transactions that happened. By the time they got here, they were Quebecois. They got it from the front end when they were coming in, and they got it from the back end when they're just about at the end of the string. But they brought my head together because I saw both sides. They brought it in from overseas. The only thing that I can still see pure around here is the Indian. That's all. They knew something about the moon. They knew something that the colors. They knew if they could mix the colors, somehow it was distorting the moon. And if they took the chicken and they cut themselves and they put the blood, it was only in an essence. It's an essence. Once you have the essence, it's like filling out a survey. Everybody says, yes, I want to have a good life. So you get 95, so in the category of essence of having a good life, it's 95%. But it was 98%. You know how I know that? Because of all the cherries and because of the slot machines that pay out 98.25%, 1.75% missing. The one God with the 0.75 or the 0.25 that you have, for the same reason that they have 80 and they can't have 100 because it's 1 and it's got 2 zeros. And the zeros end up starting the tennis game, and now we're into tennis, and I can go into anything. Anything at all. And the sad thing is, very for myself, the sad thing is it started just like that over the last 40 years. And it can just go away tomorrow. It can go away in 5 minutes. I'm not the controller. I'm only the one who gets within the vibrations in which my heart has been good enough to be able to decrypt it. And now, I still don't believe what I'm even hearing from my own voice. I don't believe that everything I did in the last 40 years, from going through of waking up with crazy dreams to all of a sudden having bar mitzvah and loving bowling, and I couldn't figure out why bowling was thing, and then I said bowling, and then I said, oh my God, bowling and the curve, the natural curve, the eagle, the bald eagle. Something about the birds, man, the birds and the bees. You come into this world, they tell you about the birds and the bees, you know? They tell you that everything comes out on paper and on trees. Trees must have something to do with vibration because they use it with drumsticks. Trees might have something to do with vibration because they make violins. Oh, I'm sorry. It's honey. I must stick my mind back together. I don't drink very much water anymore because the juice I get comes out of the jungle. I have all I need right from the fruit. Why do I need to drink water? What's wrong with the way I am? I have a various amount of juices that have absolutely no sugar in it. I must vary, eat, drink, think the colors of the great death of black darkness and anything that can be hidden in the dark, so I can take within the wise owl's eyes and think of the U-turn between my eyes, creating the spider web between my thoughts, connecting the 8th world to the 6th world. Jupiter. Into Jupiter is the place you want to be, my friends. The Star of Bethlehem. The coming of the Golden Age. The time is now. The cat and the dog have fought forever. One is a 24 and one is a 26. All the same. She scratched and she scratched. And you only had 9 legs of the cats in your head anyways. And the one of them that brought you in was the one that was helping you to survive until you were old enough to survive on your own. And it switches and switches until Soylent Green and Logan's Run comes along. The ecosystem. The most important thing in the world, and they know it. and they're not really destroying it, but they are destroying it. They're destroying it because there's an energy that they must, in order to stop what's going to happen, they must break the leg. The same way in Misery, the way he broke his legs between the two, the way the ace is standing with one of those posts between his legs, but that's not true. Because it's all diamonds. The minute you hit one leg, it rebounds to the other leg and bounces back up. And the shape to come straight across in the ace is not true. It's a diamond shape, because there's a diamond dice inside between her legs, between two aces. That's what makes the bar. It goes up like this and down like this and down like this and up like this, and that makes the perfect shape of the dice to hold it. It's a balancing beam of bridges. If you take the H apart from the San Francisco Bridge, when the San Francisco Bridge went down, when you break a 4 and 4 H beam together, the number 1 crossing through the 7 upside down creates that 4. You've crossed two worlds with a 1, and you couldn't tell the beauty of what 1 can do alone. In between splitting up and dividing everything. When you make a mark in between a 0 of 1, you have two sides of actually looking like half a D, where you're actually thinking that the ID of the 1 pushed right in, so the back became straight, but it's really a 0. So it should be 15 on one side, 15 on the other side. That'd be 30. Then 1 on the left and 1 on the right. It'd be 31 each, and 1 in the center to count for itself. But then they have to count the totality together. 31 and 31 is 31 days of the 31-day month. 62 of the 62 that they talk about. 622, 6. 22 would have to be the jumping months. 22 equals 2 and 2 months of 30 days. 6 and 22, 6 would be the combining months, that there is 8 months left, and they overlap because December is the 12th month, okay, and it meets with March, the 3rd month, the reason for Jesus Christ, because they needed Jesus in your head, okay? So March would be the 3rd month, as December is the 12th one, and 2 is 3. February is the 2nd month, okay, and when you make the number 2, if you don't make it properly and you make an egg, half of that egg is a twist tie for a Cancer sign. In the fancy designs, they always use it as a Q letter instead of a 2 letter. So I can show you what it looks like. And I'll show you where the splicing comes in. Okay. See, here's the 2 here, you see? You see the rest of the angle of the 2? She splices everything in and she captures it here. Here's the tail sticking out. This crossing over here creates that X. This is the U, is no way out. Here's the tail that has all the way out because it's the tail in. And guess what? It all has to do with man. Because man's got a special tail with a special eye that wherever he goes, he dots the I, he walks in the snow, he's a heart. He has no stand. He can't stand on anything. The eye between his legs, they can't figure out how that works, how the brains and the balls work. They coil up during the day when you're at work and receiving all the information and you remember of everything you have to do. And they coil down when you get home, and then you get horny, because then they feel lighter, they're light-loaded. They don't have as much work on top of them. That's why you want to go out and have a drink and lighten the load so the ball's set up. So the thing on your head goes down and the dick goes up like this. Then it's got one guy in between. Now listen to this. Okay? This is a rifle. Because everything must coil in this world. Otherwise it's like jumping into a pool and it makes a big splash. If you go slide your... Anyways, I won't get to that. Okay? It's like putting that thing in the ground. If you bang a nail into the ground or something, or to tie the dogs up, well, that's a coil. If you force that coil like this while you're turning it, well, you're just going to cause a friction and a compression, and it may come back at you if you're not strong enough to hold it. Kansas City, Missouri, 105. 2 highways that crisscross, 35 and 70. They're 1. 35, 35, and 35 is 105. 3 by 5 is the 15 egg that makes the 45 of the 45 of the 45. 135 degrees spells the ace. If you do it on 2 sides, you have 270. If you have creation in the middle of 3 of 273, 39 weeks of the pregnancy, and the 4 days left over for the jump, the day I was born. Now this has been fun. So I was showing you 6/22/6. Then we have February, and then we have something very special. Okay, something very special. It's November. November is what brings you in. It's the passage of Jupiter right here. You also get it from the Z. Okay, both of them make it. There's more than one letter that makes it. It's the passage through Jupiter. Here's the egg of love. 14, November is the letter N. But 11 is the month. 1 and 1 is 2. The hidden 2 of 1 and 1 and everything is the K. That K could do so many things. It can create a, here, I'm going to just show you 1K. 1K. Let me just do this. Let me do this 1K, and then I'm going to do another K. I'm doing it really quick. Okay. And here's the 1K. 1K here, 1K here, the year 2000. Now we go inside and we count the time to 12. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. 1 to here, 1 to here, 1 to here. From here to here is 4. From here to here is 4. Back to here is 4. 2012. If I create this again, if I create that again, I get the line, okay? But now, this one, it turns into K's all around. 2 more lines, box in this. 11, 11, boxing in the world on its side. So they're always trapped, okay? And there's more than one, and we're not the only world. So whatever's going on here is nothing. But it's in this world and it's everything, because we're 6 billion people on this world. And I don't know who's real and not real. And not only that, the other thing is, you can exist as a Chinese person. When the DNA comes out and you get installed in the body, it doesn't matter what face you are, and you're usually happy with it, no? You're somewhere else. There's islands pulled together. We are not just one Earth. We might be plenty of Earths. Avatar pulled together into an ocean bay where it looks like we're always going around, but we're never going around. Somehow they seem to move the islands. I don't know how they do it. I will find out. I got my lighter here, but I don't have my mouse to shut this off, so you're going to have to give me a minute. But I have more, right? I have more batteries. I found a battery right here. Anyways, so I'm doing this project, and this is what comes out of it. I'm sharing my book that I'm writing with everybody for the reason that if anybody can help me with this, why not, you know? But like I said, I'm very tough, and I hate to send people away, and I won't send people away. Please refrain from the jittering and the laughing. Take it away. I'll just put myself away and wait for another time to come back out. For me, this is serious. When I hear your voice and you're laughing, you're breaking up the intellectual thoughts and vibrations of those who are around on the system. We're not alone. This is always our site, your house. You make your own choice, but when you walk into a room, you're a 5 to who is the host, who is a 7. He is the ghost you do not see. You are the host 5. You are no more. You are a voice. It is not your channel. I don't want to say this, and I don't like to do this, but I have to put things in order. The house must be in order. There's only one way to run, and that is the right way. If you can't find the right way, you must run away. And the wolf will chase you. Do not worry. Why am I like this? Because I'm writing a book. And I want to get serious the way I think. Because I think that's the only way to make it. It keeps up the... Once you start, things start studying interesting, you go into a theater, you shut your mouse for 2 hours. Right? Just shut the mouse off in your head, and you watch. You let your eyes' brains do the work. Your eyes are going to take it, they're going to see, encrypt, design, put in your head, you're going to think, oh, and the show is running. So you're now like 7 seconds behind, like all the radio stations. It's a system, my friends. It's a system. And it's a good one, because I've been having a good time. And I always will have a good time, because whether I'm here or I'm not, what is coming will still come. And you can't stop it. and neither can I. And don't worry. There's nothing to worry about other than keeping order in your own house so that when the vibrations come in, they can settle the lands for us. You have to understand, this is based on vibrations of your genuinicity, synchronicity. It's almost like being in a balloon. And if you're all blowing the same kind of air, the balloon will rise. But if one is different, that is good. If 10 are different and there's only 10, that is no good. One is always good. Do you know why? Because it's that one dart that lets out the air, that lets the balloon change its directions. To breathe, to reinstall the encryptions of the culminations of vibrations that are pumped into our heads constantly from two different worlds. God's trying to make us go straight, and the other world wants us to go as straight as we could. And then everything in the path to help us. They're giving us everything. Now that things are disappearing and you've lost all the lots in Monopoly and all you have is your paycheck, you cannot sell one thing. I'm going to get back. I'm getting off right now because my stomach's creating a ball, an emptiness. Astral videos, my friends, please, please. I cannot tell you what I think. I cannot tell you what I see. I cannot tell you my encryptions. I'm a ghost that you see that speaks from another world within my own, in the same place in St. Jerome of where I am. It makes no difference if I'm on the outside. This is only a word of thought. Your communications and your heart and your goodness towards your children, and this is only an encryption I'm getting. I have no idea who you are, okay? Must stay in the family. This cannot leave the family. Communication is the most important thing, that you take care of your employees, because your employees is what brings the liveliness, the rock and roll. There's nothing without the crowd. How can you play without a reaction? It's a vibration within the music coming from the heart. It's a dance of the mind. It's a dance of the mind. Fuck, it's like a minefield. Holy fuck. Watch out where you step in your own head. Lying down, but it's okay at night because you're playing dead. So they take control of you over everything you did that day, and then when it's too late, you're dead and you've gone your way. So you had a good time and you were fine, you were drinking your wine and spitting out the shit and shooting the shit. But at the end, when you got up and saw your story, all you did is cry for the rest of your life because you told God you just want to go back to the jungle, where everything goes back into the ground. I want to know how many things, how many monkeys use toilet paper. To let. It's an outlet, the paper. It retains what you wipe off your ass so they can pick up the DNA and know who you are, because they already know who you are. It's that extra DNA that you eat every day that they have to see. I don't know how they do this. Somehow it's in the air and it goes up into the sky and over towards the moon. And I think it's the moon that does this whole thing. And that's why I said we need at least 3 moons. And one of the reasons for the 3 moons, and I don't, and you know what? 3 times 19, 57 moons. Plus 6 for man, 63 moons. May as well go to Jupiter, it has 63 moons. 8, 2 moons. 7, 1 moon. They have to do what we do. If they did what we did, we should have 3 moons. Times. For every time there's another city out there. 81 is the max. Jupiter has 63, plus the 18 of the worlds that she's in. She's at the max right now. She can't go anywhere. She's turning over and getting rid of her junk. Raphael 7286. Astro, keep it in the family, man. Keep it in the family. Now, I might be totally wrong. What I'm telling you is probably going to destroy everything, but I don't think so, because Bell almost killed my parents. Bell is BE and 11. It says B11, but the real thing is to before, what it was before, and they don't have the vitamin before, because your before wasn't in this world, it was somewhere else. Raphael 7286.